Hey, I'm Russ.
And I'm Steve.
Growing up in the 80s, we were introduced to video games, movies, and technology that made a lasting impression on us and forever enriched our lives.
I think I'm gonna cry.
It's been a fascinating journey to be a part of, one that we constantly treasure.
Arr, booty.
Our goal is simple: share our magical moments of discovery and geek out with lovely folks, just like you.
Achievement unlocked.
So if you crave pixel goodness, memorable moments, and experiences that make your inner child do the happy dance, you've come to the right place.
Let's do this.
Welcome to Joygasm.
Ah, yeah.
Salutations, everyone, and welcome back to Joygasm, where we talk about video games, movies, and that's right, pop culture. I'm Russ, Xbox Live Toaster 360, and joining me is the defender of Filipina virginity, Steve, aka Stevevich, as we jump into episode 46 today.
What in the world?
You should have seen the look on Steve's face. That was awesome. Totally broke my opening. That was awesome. As I was saying, as we jump into episode 46 today, November 11th, 2017. To get the most out of Joygasm, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on joygasm.tv and soundcloud.com/joygasmtv. Also, for exclusive access and some sweet goodies, check us out at patreon.com/joygasm. And no matter which platform you use to enjoy the show, please drop us a subscription, thumbs up, or a review. It helps us build awareness, which we appreciate very much. There are so many fantastic topics to discuss. I can barely contain myself.
Apparently.
Gaming news consists of Nintendo Switch sales, PlayerUnknown's next game, Injustice 2's next DLC characters revealed, EA buying Respawn Entertainment, GTA 5 sales numbers, and more. Movie news includes Netflix, the Han Solo movie, Venom, a secret Marvel project, Steven Spielberg's next movie, and no, it is not Ready Player One. Disney stipulations for theaters regarding Star Wars, Black Panther posters revealed, and another Star Wars trilogy announced. Our topic of the day is the Disney/Fox deal possibility. But first things first. How you doing, Steve?
Oh, man. Well, I had made myself a nice cup of coffee this morning, Rose.
A little cup of Joe.
And apparently I wasn't awake enough until you had that opening comment there. So that, wow, startling. Jeez, say the least.
I thought you would appreciate having that title, considering the fact that your girlfriend is from the Philippines originally, Steve.
I'm a very diverse individual, Russ. I like diversity.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I thought you'd like it. Defender of Filipina virginity. I thought that was pretty cool. It's
great, Russ.
Has a nice little ring to it.
But yeah, no, made a nice cup of coffee this morning, not last night, because last night I had a great night's sleep. No tossing and turning for me. Found a nice. I put the AC on down to 59 degrees to regulate my overheating body temperature, and I slept like a baby.
I ended up waking up early.
Oof.
It's like the one day that I have that I can sleep in, and it didn't happen. I woke up at like 7 a.m. Boink. No alarm, nothing. And I was laying there in bed. I'm thinking, I'll look at my phone. Maybe that'll make me tired.
Yeah, right.
And then 40 minutes later, it's like, actually, you know what? I take that back. I woke up at 6.
Oh, good.
I woke up at 6 a.m. And I was just like, okay. And then 40 minutes later, it was 6:40. I'm thinking, what the heck? And so I ended up getting out of bed. You know, the rest of the family's still sleeping. I just went upstairs and started playing some games.
Yeah, I think the worst thing you can do to try to go back to sleep is look at your phone, because that's like 100% information coming at you all at once. And then you're like, oh, come on, brain, go to sleep. Info.
Yeah. It is bad. It was probably a bad thing to do. But it was weird. I felt restless. Like I was just, I don't know, like I got home from work the other day, I realized I asked what's going on with you, but I figured I'm kind of gonna I'm just gonna say this really quickly.
You do you, Russ. We'll switch it up a bit.
Okay, we'll switch it up. Well, I'll just keep going with it. Thank you for being so understanding, Steve.
That's who I am, Russ.
I got home and I was just absolutely, I don't know, my brain was going 100 miles an hour, and I think it was just with regards to different ideas for the show, and also just like, is that H2O of high quality over there?
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
But yeah, I just found myself thinking, what else could we do with the show, and also just what else could I do that would just be productive and in a creative sense? I don't know. I just found myself being really inspired. And I think a lot of things that we'll be touching upon on this episode kind of plays into that, because as I was preparing for it, there are so many different types of exciting stories going on. And I really look forward to discussing that. Actually, segueing from that into some house cleaning stuff. It's not really house cleaning, but just a really fun announcement for Joygasm. I was looking at our statistics, and we have several new countries that have joined the Joygasm family, which I'm really excited about, as I hope you are as well.
No, I'm not. No.
First and foremost, the Russian Federation. We now have listeners there. We also have listeners from Venezuela. We have listeners from Ireland.
Yes.
We have listeners from Israel, Austria, and Colombia.
Wow.
So the total amount of countries that are now a part of the Joygasm family comes to 18. We now have 18 countries that have taken a chance on us, and as a result, the numbers are steadily rising. So I definitely want to give all of the folks from those lovely places a big high five.
High five, fist bump, pat on the back.
Maybe even a bear hug. I'll give you a nice big bear hug. Yeah, a group hug. Who wants a group hug? So that's definitely encouraging to see that. In terms of the games that I've played, you've been seeing me play a lot of Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein?
The Wolfenstein. But it seriously is a great game.
Yeah.
I will admit there have been some moments of frustration where the difficulty all of a sudden just ramps up toward the end of certain levels, in which case I have dropped many an F-bomb, which I apologize to you, Steve.
Ruba Fragger!
And I tell you, it is not fart fignuken. It is something else entirely.
So you, in the beginning, did up the difficulty. You're like, should I start at normal? I'm like, I don't know, whatever you want to do. And then you're like, no, I'll do one from the most difficult. Okay, Russ. And you're like, man, it's too difficult. It is too. Okay, well.
I did. I mean, because I'm a big first-person shooter guy. I like a good FPS. And I was reading the little descriptions on there, and I was thinking, I could probably handle this. And I think I chose the fourth hardest difficulty or something to that effect. But I'm paying for it, man. I mean, there are certain parts that are just so difficult to get past, but I do get past them.
On a positive note, you can say that the game playing experience is broadened.
Yes.
You're not going to finish the game anytime really, really soon.
No, but it does feel... I have to thank Cuphead for that, because I feel like Cuphead is such a difficult game. It's reawakened the fire deep in my belly about just wanting to have a good challenge. And I might get a little pissed off, but
Cuphead. That's a love-hate relationship right there.
It is. I mean, so that's worth mentioning as well. When we were both here, we've been stuck on this 3-headed dragon boss forever. I think literally we've been stuck on that thing for a month. 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, somewhere around there. I can't remember. I think we were both co-oping through it. You died. I was still making my way through it, and I actually beat the thing. And I remember you like totally grabbed my knee, and you were literally shaking me like a rag doll. You were so thrilled that we finally got past it. And I was just dumbfounded I actually beat it. So it was just this weird kind of deer staring into an oncoming pair of headlights while you're shaking me. I don't know. I think if you hadn't shaken me, it probably would not have registered that I actually did get past that boss.
I had to make sure it wasn't a dream. It was late at night. It was around like 12:30 or so, and I was like, all right, one more time, one more play. Well, I gotta go to bed. I'm like, okay, maybe we already are asleep, and you beat him like, this better not be a dream. This better not be a dream.
Yeah. It's extremely satisfying. And then we get to the third, it's the third world.
Yeah.
Island. I can't remember if they call it a world or island, but it's that third isometric part of the game. And
The zone.
and now we're stuck there.
Yeah.
But mark my words, we will conquer all. It may take us a whole year to do so, but we will.
Yeah, I wish there was a way you can combine that stuff that you buy, because I feel like the coins and everything are so hard to come by. And when you buy stuff, it's like, okay, well, you gotta switch out what you like for something else that you're gonna take a chance on, and then maybe it's good, maybe it's not so good.
Well, and the consequences of the game too, like when you're buying something from the shop, like I wish there was kind of a try before you buy.
Yeah.
Because I've bought certain things that I'm like, I can't use this. Like this is just not a part of my play style, but I've already committed the money.
Can I return it?
Yeah.
I got my receipt.
It's within the return time frame.
So under 30 days.
Yeah. But everyone who I talk to just is loving the graphics, the animation, the overall presentation. It's a game that just, you get so angry, but you keep playing. I mean, like the addiction factor is extremely high. Injustice 2 is another game, of course, that I constantly play. That's seriously one of my favorite games of the year. And I think on November 14th, which is next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, Hellboy gets redropped. I thought he was dropped already this week.
Redropped?
Yeah.
Oof! Thanks for redropping me.
And other news too, due to the fact, I can't remember if we have talked about this on the show. I know you and I have talked about it, but since our previous giveaway, we've been able to bolster our numbers to the point where we now have a customized URL on YouTube, which is joygasm.com/joygasm.
Nice.
So
That's a lot better than letter Q, number sign, number up, down, question mark.
It does. It's a little easier to remember. So I'm really excited about that. And actually piggybacking on top of that little statement there, round 2 giveaway has begun on Twitter. And this time we are giving away both a Super Nintendo Classic Mini and a Super Nintendo wireless controller. So to enter, go to twitter.com/joygasmtv, where you will see a pinned tweet at the top. What you want to do is you want to retweet that tweet, follow at Joygasm TV, and subscribe to the Joygasm YouTube channel. And the link to the YouTube channel is in the pinned tweet for your convenience. You must do all 3 of those things to be entered into the giveaway. The last day to enter is November 20th, and we'll announce who the winner is on November 27th. I think the only other thing that is new with me is the fact that I'm making my way through Stranger Things Season 2 with the wife, and we're both loving what we're seeing so far. It's a little different than the first season, but I think it's a good kind of different. I'm going to be looking forward to just trying to binge watch our way through it.
I think I'm going to start watching that tonight.
As well you should.
I'm going to watch the Season 1, Episode 1 tonight, so I can get started on that. Partly because I'm curious. The other part is because I want to finish it so I can talk to you about it, and then we can start watching The Sopranos. I'm dying to show you that.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to seeing it. I know that that was just a hugely popular and successful show back when it was on TV. So yeah, I'm definitely down for that. And I have so many shows I'm trying to catch up on. I have of course, Stranger Things Season 2. I also have, I think Vikings, the latest season of Vikings is coming out this month. And then Gotham is another show I'm still trying to get caught up on. I've been told I need to watch Daredevil on Netflix.
Right.
As well as The Flash.
Right. I put those on my list.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many. I know I'm forgetting 2 or 3 other ones just as I'm rattling these things off. But enough about me. Back to you in the newsroom, Steve.
I almost thought you were going to forget about me there for a second.
No. Let's hear about what you have been playing
see.
Watching.
Well, let's see what day is today. Today's Saturday. I forgot when this happened, but I came home, I think one night when I was with you, and flipped on the Xbox, and they gave me a code that says, hey, it's beginning of the holiday season. It's after Halloween, and we just thought we'd give you $5 to spend in the Xbox store. And I thought, oh, nice.
This is on Xbox Live?
Yes.
I wonder if I got that.
Yeah, you might want to check your messages, Russ.
Well, you keep talking. I'm going to go get my controller.
Keep talking. Once you go over there and get your controller, take a little look at it. Maybe they just like me more than you. I don't know. Anyhow, so it said it gave me $5, and I knew I had some credit from a previous purchase that I had made in order to get the Witcher DLC. The Witcher!
Yeah, I was going to say. You didn't say that right.
So I knew I had about $15 left as a balance, and so this put me at 20, and I thought, well, I've been playing lots of Witcher lately. Maybe I should see if I have enough to get the Hot Wheels pack.
So let me stop here really quick. So where did you see it?
It's in the messages.
Oh, there it is. Okay, enjoy a free $5 gift card on us to kick off your holiday shopping for that perfect gift. Redeem by November 30th, 2017, and spend within 90 days of redemption. So wait, so you have to click on redeem code in order to get it?
There you go.
I'm surprised that they just didn't, I don't know, have like some sort of account set up for you. We're like, hey, here you go. Like, why do I have to manually go in and redeem
Russ,
it?
I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to take the $5.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't have known that had you not told me. I mean, I would have been like, oh man, look at.
Well, they came up with a notification on my screen when I first logged in. So maybe one time you logged in and then had to put your daughter to sleep or something, and then it popped up and you missed it.
So if I redeem the code, okay, so now I'm going over there now. I'm staring at the Windows shopping bag icon. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting to the redeem a code screen here. Waiting, thinking,
Loading.
I'm staring at the perpetually animated green rotating.
Green and white.
Now we've gone from the green streak to the green circles.
There we go.
There we go.
Next.
So we got the redeem your code or gift card. We're going to click next. It's going to be added to my email of choice. Here's what you get. Yeah, $5 gift card. Okay, confirm. And it's processing. You're good to go. $5 has been added to your Microsoft account. Your new balance is $5.
There you go.
Hey, well, I appreciate you saying that because, like I said, I probably would have just never known about that.
Yeah. So, I ended up having like $20.19 or something left over, or $20 and a penny. Mm-hmm. And so, sure enough, the DLC for the Hot Wheels pack for Forza Horizon 3 was $20. I'm like, yes!
Oh, how about that?
I got it, and that's the only thing I've been playing the entire week.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I've been having a blast. I brought Dad over to check it out.
Good old Dad.
Dear old Dad.
Dear old Dad's even better. Yeah. Dear old Dad.
And so he's like, oh, I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting sick, because all of like the tracks and stuff. And I'm
You're like all excited. You're all playing with this look on your face. In the background, you hear the Dad.
I got to clean that up now.
What does that smell?
Oh, man. So anyway, that has just been a delight, man. I tell you, I hope in the next, I hope they bring more Hot Wheels to the next Forza Horizon game. And I hope the one thing they do is they put a screensaver in the game of just different scenes, like with the waves and the backgrounds and the tracks and all the colors and the sunsets, because it's just so gorgeous.
That series seriously gets better and better every time. I mean, I haven't even played Forza 7.
Yeah.
But from all the reviews I've seen and the friends I know who bought the game, they say that's just yet another great addition to the series. Gran Turismo for the PlayStation, I believe, is supposed to be coming out. Is it this year or next year?
It's supposed to be this year. I've been seeing videos popping up everywhere on YouTube.
I'd be curious to see what that experience is like on there, because I haven't played a Gran Turismo title in years. But this one in particular, from just what I've seen, this piqued my interest.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been so many Gran Turismos that I've played in the past, and I don't know. I just can't do them anymore. I think I've said it a couple times in the show where I don't know if it's the driving dynamics or it's the same tracks or the sound effects don't change that much in the games, and it's too like on rails per se.
Yeah,
and I couldn't do Gran Turismo anymore. I'm A-okay with staying in my love relationship with Forza.
Right on.
Especially the Horizon series.
Yeah, and it's crazy how both you and I played Forza Horizon 3. That was the first Horizon game we played, and I think it was just the timing was perfect, just based on what I saw from the previous iterations. I think we were introduced to it at just the right time, and I think we are certainly looking forward to seeing what Horizon 4 has in store for us.
Yeah, for sure. I remember I played the demo for Forza Horizon 2, and it just didn't have... I mean, it was cool, but it didn't have that... I don't know. It was more like a big party, and that's what the main focus is. Like, parties, sports cars, bro. Welcome. This is Forza. This is right. And I was like, what is this, like a frat party with sports cars or something? Like, what is going on?
I remember you. Yeah, I think you mentioned that before.
And I just didn't have the vibe. This had some humor thrown in and had like some polish and professionalism, and then still really, really beautiful venues and whatnot. So it just hit all the buttons for me. Other than that, I mentioned last week that I was going to get South Park in the mail, snail mail, and so I watched that. That was okay. I forgot what season it was, but it was the season that had Free Wilsoniak.
I have no idea.
Which is basically the episode where the South Park boys free a killer whale. So it was
okay.
It was a take on that, but it was basically the people at like SeaWorld or whoever else are pranking the South Park guys, and thinking that they got this killer whale, this orca from space, and now he wants to go back to his family, and so they orchestrate this entire big plan to make this whale escape, and then go to Mexico with their little rocket program and throw the whale into space.
Wow! And
what was really cool, was probably the coolest thing about the episode, is that the pranksters from the SeaWorld place, they go around the little South Park neighborhood looking for the boys and bring these composite sketches of them to their parents. They're like, okay, where are these boys? This is what they look like. And some artist has gone in there and like really hashed out what these kids would look like if you were to see them today. And I mean, it looks like it comes off the page. It is so well done. I want to Google. I'll send you a Google image of it, but it looks crazy good.
Okay,
so nothing you expect in the show, but. Anyhow, that brings me up to speed.
Brings you up to speed. Well, okay, so as we jump into gaming news, the first thing, I'm not going to play the music just yet because the first item on here is the fact that NetherRealm Studios just dropped their trailer for the DLC Pack 3. So it's the third pack for the new characters coming out. Two of which I already knew. One was going to be the Enchantress, which I don't know if... did you ever watch Suicide Squad in the movie? Or did you see parts of it? You saw it with me?
You asked me that. That's like the main question. Like,
my brain does not work so well anymore. You have to forgive me on this.
Russ, I'm just a figment of your imagination. You're talking to yourself right now.
Oh, good. I like talking to my imaginary friends.
You never even had a brother, Russ. I'm something you created early on.
If there was the id, the ego, and whatever that third one is, you're the third one.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so you remember Enchantress from Suicide Squad? Or did you just check out after like watching like the first third of that film and now you just have no recollection whatsoever?
Yeah, I kind of checked out.
Okay, so I don't feel too bad about this. Okay, so one of the characters is going to be Enchantress. The other one is going to be Adam, which is basically the DC equivalent of Ant-Man, which actually is not. It sounds like it could be pretty cool in terms of the gameplay mechanics for the game. The third one, however, completely took me by surprise. I am totally excited, and I want you to watch this trailer right here, Steve.
Okay, right.
So. Little DC logo.
DCWB.
NetherRealm. Little dark alleyway. Oh, that's Raiden, who was from the DLC Pack 2.
Red barrels pouring out something that's got to be.
You got Black Manta in the background, got knocked over. All right, there's Adam. Enchantress is shifting into her darker self. They're gonna have a little rumble action.
They look at each other like, "Hey, what's up? You new here?" Now they got the bassy sound effects just like in the regular game.
All right, now pay attention.
I'm paying, Russ. I'm paying.
What do you see there?
Now that looks like fun.
Oh, snap.
Dibs on the magic, lady. We fight as a team, Mikey. Fine.
Ah, those are the old school turtles, not the new school.
Exactly.
Those are the good ones. Man, they did a good job rendering them.
Look. Is that not righteous or what?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, well, I thought that was someone else on both sides there, but no, man, they got the walk down.
Yes,
and the textures and everything. And they look like they've just come from the original movie back in the day.
Yes,
into the game,
the
like,
90s style.
You gotta get that.
Well, and I am because it comes with the Ultimate Edition of the game.
Wow.
But I mean, what I believe the third DLC is the last pack to be released for the game. What a way to wrap up Injustice 2. I mean, like I saw that and I was like, like I had some brain aneurysms firing off. I was so pumped, and it sounded like I think they got Corey Feldman to actually reprise his voiceover role for one of the Turtles. It sounded like
it did, yeah. We gotta look that up.
But the characters, I mean, the fact that they went with the 90s style, such a smart move.
Yeah.
I mean, just I'm so excited.
Netflix recommended the new Turtle movie to me, and I'm like, I didn't really care for the first one that much. Like, I probably should see it just because, just because some of my friends have seen it, and I know some folks like it, and God bless you.
Yeah.
But after the original one is the staple. I'm sorry. I'll take it to my grave, baby.
It is.
I love that movie.
Oh yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that movie we saw in the theater 13 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, no, 13 for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane, and like everything about it was just absolutely perfect. So, and it's funny because when you think of the Turtle camps, you have folks who are diehard 90s Turtles fans. They love the way the Turtles looked in the cartoon, in the comic books themselves, as well as the first film, the first outing.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm getting excited. I was just gonna say some of those comic books are pretty gritty.
Oh yeah,
also too. Yeah. Anyway, so go ahead.
And then you have the second camp that prefers more of the update to the Turtles, whether it's the Nickelodeon cartoon or even like the more recent films that Michael Bay produced and someone else. I can't remember who the director was, but it's interesting to have those too. I, for one, though, cannot wait. The fact that they even have all 4 Turtles in there, and I'm going to just venture a guess. Due to the way that Injustice 2 has its gameplay mechanics for the characters, I have a feeling that one of the specials that you can do is rotate between all 4 Turtles on the fly. So based on that, you could like be Raphael and then hit the B button if you're playing on Xbox, and like all of a sudden like switch out for Donatello or whoever it is. I could be wrong, but that's my theory. I think that's how you're going to be able to do it.
I wonder if they don't do that and you're choosing like, I don't know, Donatello, and you get your special, your move, your ultimate, whatever, and then they'll get on those rocket skateboards sort of thing. You just drag them through the sewers, banging them all over the place, Well, and that's something cool like that.
And see, that's really cool too. Is that like I didn't even think about the ultimate. I mean, the ultimate would be fantastic to showcase all 4 Turtles just doing certain things. You have Mikey on his like rocket skateboard, or you have Donatello with his tech. I mean, just. Who knows what it is, but yeah, I could totally see some sort of Heroes in a Half Shell sewer sequence. It'd just be,
man.
I mean, my hat goes off to Ed Boon. Ed Boon is the founder of NetherRealm Studios. He's the OG programmer from the original Mortal Kombat days. The fact that they did that, I cannot believe that. It is, it is so cool.
You know, we're going to have an episode. Maybe an episode we'll put on Patreon or something, but we have to talk about the Ninja Turtles at some point. I mean, that was like a big part of our upbringing. We have to talk about it at some point.
Absolutely. Duly noted. Well, let's kick off the rest of the game. We have so much stuff to cover here.
So much.
Nintendo expects Switch to outsell Wii U's lifetime total by next year. The Switch sales currently sit at 7.63 million. Jordan Cerrone reports that Nintendo projects Switch will sell 14 million units by the end of March 2018, which would surpass Wii U's lifetime sales total of 13.56 million units. I think that this was worth talking about just because of the fact that the Wii U, I don't think was like highly regarded when it came out. I know when the Nintendo Wii came out, there were a lot of folks who bought it because of the novel approach to their controllers and that sort of thing. But the Wii U, it really... I suppose if you're just talking about numbers, it did okay. However, if you compare it to the Nintendo Switch, I think the Nintendo Switch has been like by and large a huge success for Nintendo, and it's really caused them to roar back in terms of being a name brand to be reckoned with. Not that like in the back in the day they weren't, but just in terms of a console system, it's always been kind of that. They've been able to successfully like push themselves into like quote unquote that other system that people own. Like if you own a PlayStation or you own an Xbox, chances are those people from both camps will have a Nintendo Switch because it fits that niche so well.
Right.
But the company's updated forecast released as part of its most recent financial report, it shows that Nintendo expects to nearly double Switch's current sales total of 7.63 million units in the next 6 months. There is a special note that says that this latest Switch figure does not account for October sales. But with these new projections and considering Wii U production ended globally earlier this year, it's likely that the Switch will outsell its predecessor during its first year on the market. Another little side note that's worth mentioning is that Nintendo also revealed The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I bought. I still have yet to play it.
Nice.
I'm still just having fun with Mario Kart. It has sold 4.7 million units on Switch, bringing the console's software sales total to over 27 million. So way to go, Nintendo. Have you heard of PlayerUnknown's Battleground?
Yes.
Okay, so they came out with a game that has been widely successful, and the developer reveals a new game that they're working on. The developer is called Bluehole, and their next game is an open-world MMORPG called Ascent: Infinity Realm. This game blends steampunk and high fantasy and features realm versus realm PvP combat with both ground-based and aerial combat. In the game's PvP mode, players have various flying vehicles at their disposal, along with weapons such as cannons, mines, and attack buffs. Players will be able to customize their airships, choose between 5 different classes, and create their own quests. A closed beta will be arriving sometime in the first half of 2018. Neither one of us, I don't think, has played their first outing, but everybody I've talked to just absolutely loves it, and of course, gives me that look like, why haven't you tried it yet?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, look at my stack of games, man. I'm behind.
You haven't tried it?
Yeah. We'll have to give it a shot at some point soon. EA buys Respawn Entertainment for $455 million, and a new Titanfall title has been confirmed. Respawn Entertainment, the studio behind the Titanfall franchise, is indeed being bought by EA. Both companies are already working together on several projects, including a VR game, a Star Wars game, and a new title in the Titanfall franchise. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella said the move, quote, brings the resources and support his company needs for its long-term success, end quote. In a statement on Respawn's site, Zampella said there will be no layoffs or major organization changes at Respawn, and games currently in development are continued as planned. So that's really nice to hear, because oftentimes when you're part of the team and you have some sort of major reorg like that, like an acquisition, people get really nervous because it's like, well, does that mean we're going to lose our jobs, or does that mean the culture will change? I have a feeling, though, that due to the fact that he has such huge clout, considering the fact that he was the one who founded and started up Call of Duty before having a major falling out with Activision and jumping over to EA. I have a feeling that they probably have a lot of stipulations in that contract. What I also think is worth noting is, if you recall, EA shut down Visceral Games, which was under their umbrella. I, for one, can't help but wonder if that, like, a part of that major decision was in fact because they had to reallocate assets to be able to make this acquisition happen with Respawn Entertainment. I could be completely wrong, but $455 million is no chump change.
Yeah, they have it laying around somewhere.
No, yeah, sure.
Hey, I found this extra $440 million. Want to go buy something? Yeah, let's buy a company.
Yeah. What was weird was that I always thought that Respawn was already considered part of the EA family, but I guess they had something in there that allowed them to still be independent, but just perhaps like release their titles exclusively under the EA label. I'm not too sure, but now, you know, there's no doubt they're going to be part of the EA family. PAX East tickets now on sale. If you want to go to PAX East, now's your chance. Tickets have just gone on sale, and predictably, the site is down due to the massive influx of people trying to get their tickets. I've never gone to PAX. Are you familiar with pennyarcade.com?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, I don't know if you know this or not, but that's how PAX got started. It was essentially a convention that Penny Arcade started, which was just called PAX. However, it's gotten so popular that now they have a PAX West and a PAX East, which, of course, as you can imagine, one's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast. PAX East is held each year in Boston at the Boston Civic Center and has proven so popular, an extra day has been added. That puts it in line with PAX West, formerly just known as PAX Prime, which is the original event held each year in Seattle. So, if you guys are big fans of that, I hear it's a grand time. You're going to have to really fight for those tickets, though. And I think that you and I, at some point, it'd be nice to be able to go check it out.
It would be.
So I hear that it's a lot of fun. The video game voice actor strike is officially over.
No! Yes!
I didn't even know that they had a strike going on.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought you were going to say video game voice actor strike has begun. That's why I was like, yeah, what the?
Yeah. Say it isn't so. No, after a new ballot, the SAG-AFTRA has voted overwhelmingly to end the year-long video game voice actor strike. Beginning in October 2016, members of the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, refused to work with the likes of Disney, Activision, and Take-Two, citing the lack of a fair payment deal for voiceover artists working for video game companies. In September, a tentative agreement was made with all 11 affected publishers to bring the strike to an end after publishers agreed to bonus payments, more transparent contracts, and means to combat vocal stress. As I'm reading this, I do have an inkling of something I heard about a while back, which dealt with the fact that a lot of the voice actors were not getting a cut of like the bonuses. So like, you know, if a AAA title gets released, does really well, typically what happens is that everyone on the team who are staff, they'll get these kickbacks. They'll get these royalty checks based on the percentage of just how well the game does. And if I remember correctly, I think that in the past, voice actors have not received kickbacks for that. And considering, like, if you think of Overwatch, for example, there is a tremendous amount of voice talent involved with that. And that really goes a long way to just giving the game its soul.
Of course.
So I think this is definitely a good thing, just because those titles make a lot of money. And I think that to be overlooked like that was the wrong thing to do. And seeing as how they're remedying it now, I think that's definitely great.
Being overlooked, definitely different than being overwatched. Russ, but Blizzard didn't make that list. So I'm sure it's
that is true. That's a very good point.
Refreshing to work with Blizzard. And if you look at all the behind the scenes stuff with the voice actors they have, I mean, everybody has nothing but good things to say about Blizzard.
Yeah.
And I know that it's kind of common, you know, that's goes without saying that you don't want to badmouth the person who's paying you, but they all seem like when they're interacting with each other and the programmers, they're all having a great time and they all have this kinship together.
You know, what's interesting is that they did, you know, for the top three, they said Disney, Activision, and Take-Two. And they also said that there are 11 affected publishers. So I don't know if Blizzard is in that. I think, to be fair, we actually don't know if they're in that or not. I do think that Blizzard probably has a really great reputation for being able to take care of folks who work with them.
Right.
So there is a quote here from the chair of the SAG after alliance, whatever you want to call it. It's an interactive negotiating committee. She said that the bonus payments we asked for are now part of the video game industry and are a base from which to build upon. I'm excited for all that we have achieved, end quote. So good for them. Moving right along into GTA. I know we haven't talked about Grand Theft Auto in quite some time.
Or at all.
I want you to wrap your mind.
Wrap it.
Wrap it around this headline. GTA 5. Actually, you know what?
What?
I want you to guess. How many copies do you think GTA 5 has sold?
50 million.
More.
Oh, 77 million.
More.
150.
No, now you're going
Okay,
to
well, I had to go on the top end somewhere.
GTA 5 has sold 85 million copies.
I was just about to say 83.
It's insane. According to the publisher Take-Two, citing the NPD Group during its latest earnings report, Grand Theft Auto 5 is now the United States' best-selling video game ever in terms of units sold and revenue. NPD says this is based on physical and digital sales across all platforms. Sold in means, and this is actually, I should have clarified that GTA 5 has sold in 85 million copies, and what that means is that the copies sold to stores and not sold through, which are copies bought by customers. Take-Two last reported Grand Theft Auto 5 sold in 75 million copies, meaning it has shipped an additional 10 million units since February of this year. Despite initially being released over 4 years ago, Rockstar's hit open-world game continues to appear on NPD's monthly list of best-selling games in the US, most recently charting 7th in September. According to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick, GTA 5 has been on 42 out of 50 NPD monthly top 10 charts, the most appearances of any single-player game on the NPD's ranking.
I don't doubt it.
I did a little bit of calculations. Let me look at my calculations. I don't have the calculations in front of me. However, they have made billions of dollars.
Yeah. No.
It is crazy how much money that one game has generated. I just can't. And people are just fiercely loyal to that game, especially the online component.
Oh, for sure. I was looking a few months ago. I'm thinking, what's Rockstar doing and what's going on with GTA 6? I want my GTA, and I was curious about Red Dead Redemption as well.
Did you play any of the GTA Online?
No, I have not. Mainly because where I used to live, the internet was so crappy that I couldn't even play Halo online because we would start to play and everyone's like, whoa, okay, who's lagging? Oh, it's that Stevovich guy. I'm like turning totally red in my room. Like, it's me. I'm just gonna stop. It wasn't even worth the time. So no, I probably should. But you know what? I gave you my copy to play over here.
Yes, you did.
And we got to check it out.
Yeah, I've been having people ask about that because I told them that you let me borrow it, and they just give me this look like, okay, well now you have no excuse. I'm like, I know it.
But when I was looking into it, I forgot where I read this or saw it. My memory for stuff is not so good. But they were saying that Rockstar has been making so much money with all this DLC that and all the credit cards that you can buy in the game, that kind of the microtransactions.
Yep.
That it's they're perfectly fine releasing more content and spending extra time making GTA 6. So yeah, GTA 6 is definitely going to come out at some point.
Take as much time as you need.
Take as much time to make it great as you need, because yeah, you can just jump right into a GTA game, period, let alone GTA 5, and pick up where you left off or just cause a bunch of mayhem, and it's always fun. Like, you're always going to get a laugh. You're always going to have a great time. So, plus there's the online component with having a great time with a bunch of your buddies.
Oh, yeah. Last but not least, GameStop to launch unlimited used game rental service. According to an advertisement posted on Reset Era, the subscription service called Power Pass lets you rent a used game, return it, and then rent another title as often as you'd like over a 6-month period. At the end of the 6-month period, you'll get to keep any one of those games that you rented.
Wow.
The 6-month service costs $60, which translates to $10 a month. Signups will begin on November 19th, and the pass must be activated by January 31st of next year. The service is limited to GameStop's Power Up Rewards members, but a free version of the membership will work. You'll only be able to rent games from GameStop stores and not via the company's online library. You'll also be able to purchase the service for someone else so long as they too are a Power Up Rewards member. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a very competitive edge over GameFly.
Yeah.
But also it's kind of smart because you always want to drive traffic into the store. You want people to come into your store and check out what you have and buy stuff. You don't want to limit it to being online only.
Yeah.
So that kind of hits it on both fronts.
It's insane. I mean, I think it's a shrewd move by GameStop to do that, just because I think that they're starting to lose quite a bit of business to the digital downloads. And so having a rental thing, because I think that is an edge that they have. Like if I look on the Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, to my knowledge, I don't think they have any kind of rental platform or rental feature yet.
Yeah.
I do think that that's coming, just because sometimes they'll have demos that you can play for a certain amount of time. But I do think that will bring more of the customers back into the store. I mean, I think that that is one of kind of the last bastions of hope for them, is just the fact that back in like the good old days of like Blockbuster Video, we would go in and we would rent like 2 or 3 games for the weekend, and you really don't have that anymore. And that was kind of a void. And it's nice to see that they have identified that. And I don't know, it's nice to be able to go in and rent a game, beat it, return it, play it again. It's actually something that, when you think of like how they would be able to replicate that on like say Xbox Live, how would you do that? Would it just be on a game by game basis? I guess it would be.
It would have to be. You know, the other way to look at this is, remember when we were standing in line to get the Nintendo Classic, and we were talking to folks in line, and the manager for GameStop came out, and he's like, "All right, I want to get a picture of you guys."
Yeah.
And everyone knew him on a first name basis, and it's that kind of a relationship that they probably want to instill in a lot of their fan base and their customers. Is you want to go in, you want to be able to see somebody you already know that you're friends with, and of course you're going to be more comfortable by making purchases.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you one thing though, with GameStop in mind, I had to go in and cancel my Xbox Scorpio thing, and I went in and everyone's like, "Hey, welcome to GameStop." You know, I'm like, "Hi," like, "What can we do for you?" I go, "I'm here to they go pick up your Xbox One X." And I went, and everyone's like really happy faces, and I was like, "No, actually, I got to cancel it." And everyone like, I don't know, saw a scene out of a movie. Everyone like looked at me from standing in line. I'm like, "Ha, ha, ha." They go, "Oh, go over there." I'm like, "Okay." And I'm standing in line, and then someone just said, "Let me deal with him first before all the rest of you get your Xboxes." And I'm like, "Okay." Like, sorry, everybody. I'm cutting in line for 3 people. And everyone's like looking at me, not even blinking. I mean, I didn't want to be like a downer. Everyone's excitement on their day. And the cashier looks at me and says, "Why are you canceling it?" And so I told him why. I'm like, "Look, I'm not in a position to do it right now. And, it's just going to be, getting a little bit less expensive later on. And more titles will be available and enhanced." And he goes, "Okay." And everyone looked at me with the deer in the headlights, like, "Wow."
You hear a pin drop in there?
Yeah, and I walked out thinking, man, I didn't know if I was going to get a quick kick in the booty out the door. Get out of here. You're not part of the fun.
Well, I just realized that we've had the movie news playing in the background, or movie news music playing in the background. So let's kick things off here. Han Solo movie. I realize this headline is a little old, but we haven't talked about it, so I thought it was worth still just bringing it up here at the beginning. Han Solo movie official title revealed. Announced on StarWars.com, director Ron Howard said in a video message on Twitter that production on the film has wrapped, and he hopes fans have enjoyed the pictures he's been sharing over the past few months on Instagram. Howard then asked if he could reveal the title of the film, and a Wookiee promptly handed him a card bearing the title, Solo, a Star Wars story. There have been sneak peeks at Donald Glover as Lando and Jonas Suotamo. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Let me try that again. Jonas Suotamo? I'm really sorry, I'm butchering that name, but he plays Chewbacca along with a number of other teaser photos, including one that appears to be a Kessel spice mine. Solo, a Star Wars story, opens in theaters on May 25th, 2018. So that'll be another Star Wars movie looking forward to next year. Netflix aims to release 80 original movies in 2018.
Good, great.
Netflix plans to release 80 original films over the course of the entire year. Variety reports that Netflix Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos said in investors interview that the company intends to release a range of different films, quote, anywhere from the $1 million Sundance hit all the way up to something on a much larger scale, end quote. He also addressed the competitive content market and Disney's departure from the service. Quote, we just have to focus on creating content that our members can't live without, he said. Whether or not one of our partners decides to produce for us or compete with us, that's really a choice that they have to make based on their own business, end quote. So it was a nice political way of just talking about how Disney, kind of went in as being partners for them and then all of a sudden reneged on that and went, no, actually, we're going to do our own thing. And we're taking all of our lovely IPs with us.
Yeah.
This next headline here actually deals with Steven Spielberg's new film, and it is not Ready Player One. In fact, you have to give me just a moment here to actually get set up for it so I could show you that. I haven't seen this trailer. And so
I think I may have seen it. Yeah. Yeah.
So, can I ask you a hypothetical question?
Oh, dear, I don't like hypothetical questions.
Well, I don't think you're gonna like the real one either.
Do you have the papers?
Not yet.
This is a devastating security breach that was leaked out of the Pentagon. The most highly classified documents of the war.
The Times says 7,000 pages detailing how the White House has been lying about the Vietnam War for 30 years. The way they lied, those days have to be over.
Okay, people are concerned about having a woman in charge of the paper, that she doesn't have the resolve to make the tough choices.
Thank you, Arthur, for your frankness.
Let's do our jobs. Find those pages.
You're talking about exposing years of government secrets.
Is that legal?
What is it you think we do here for a living, kid?
Ben, I might have something.
It must be precious cargo.
It's just government secrets.
The New York Times was barred from publishing any more classified documents dealing with the Vietnam War.
If you publish, we'll be at the Supreme Court next week.
Meaning?
Well, we could all go to prison.
To make this decision, to risk her fortune and the company that's been her entire life, well, I think that's brave.
If the government wins, the Washington Post will cease to exist.
If we don't hold them accountable, who will?
We can't hold them accountable if we don't have a newspaper.
Nixon will muster the full power of the presidency, and if there's a way to destroy you, by God, he'll find it.
I'm asking your advice, Bob, not your permission.
She can't do this.
The legacy of the company is at stake.
What will happen if we don't publish? We will lose. The country will lose. What are you going to do, Mrs. Graham?
The Post. What do you think?
Sounds interesting. Sounds somewhat relevant to today, but, not as digital. Yeah.
Ho, ho. Well, you can't really go wrong with Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks teaming up together. They seem to be producing lots of gold.
Guild or gold? Together they are a guild.
Yeah, probably gold. Yeah. It looks interesting though. I'm surprised that they just now are advertising for it, considering the fact it said this Christmas it's coming out. So I don't know if it's meant to be slid in just in time for the Oscars, or if it's something else. But I'll probably end up watching it. I think we might end up going to go check it out. Nice little political thriller.
There you go. And it's got Steven Spielberg's name on it there.
We definitely love ourselves some Spielberg around these parts.
We do.
Tom Hardy's Venom will be brought to life via performance capture, claims Andy Serkis. You remember who Andy Serkis is, don't you?
Yeah, indeed.
Chris X. Morgan reports Tom Hardy's performance as Venom in the upcoming Spider-Man spin-off will reportedly be done through performance capture, according to an actor well-versed in the field. Andy Serkis, speaking with Yahoo UK about his performance capture work, said Hardy is using the technology for a role. Quote, acting is acting. And the more actors like Steve Zahn and Karen Konoval, who play Maurice in War for the Planet of the Apes, the more A-list actors that come on board, like Mark Rylance playing the BFG, or a lot of actors in the new Marvel films, Tom Hardy is playing a new character using performance capture, Serkis told Yahoo. And I, for one, am very excited because... well, I think we both are big Tom Hardy fans.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't love themselves some Tom Hardy?
Is that Venom movie going to be rated R? I think
it is.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance. I mean, at the very least, it'll be PG-13. If they do it right, it'll be rated R, because Venom is not some sort of child play
I
thing.
thought it was going to be Venom and Carnage, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Carnage. You can't have a villain named Carnage and then be like, oh, yeah, PG rating. No problem.
Venom. Rated G. Ant-Man and the Wasp's Lawrence Fishburne and Marvel working on a secret project. Oh. Hope Corrigan reports Oscar-nominated Ant-Man and the Wasp actor Lawrence Fishburne, has revealed he's working with Marvel on a different secret project. Fishburne told Collider about the secret project, which he pitched to Marvel before being cast as Bill Foster in the Ant-Man sequel. Quote, I've got Blackish going on. I'm developing something else for Marvel that I can't talk about. It's going to be really cool. It's going to change the world. We hope. And there apparently was laughter.
Who said it? Who reported it?
Who reported the
source? Who was the source?
Hope Corrigan.
Oh, I thought you said Hulk Colgan. I was like,
oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a source for you. Get excited.
And he tears his shirt off, or his tank top off as he tells.
Anyway, going back to the quote, it's going to change the world, we hope. And they had laughter. I went to Marvel and pitched them something that they really couldn't work out. There was a lot of legal and red tape that just was something they couldn't work out. But then they came back and the offer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And then they said, hey, what do you think of this? And I went, oh yeah, that, yes. So, ... end quote. We will have to see, but we are also big fans of Lawrence Fishburne around here.
We are.
Disney sets steep conditions for theaters to show Star Wars: The Last Jedi. The Wall Street Journal reports via Gizmodo that Disney has upped its take in the usual revenue share of ticket sales from the Hollywood standard 55 to 65%.
Hashtag mine.
Along with this increase, which is reported to be a new benchmark, Disney is also demanding, I demand, theaters reserve the largest auditorium exclusively for The Last Jedi for at least 4 weeks.
Good. Great.
Violating these terms or canceling even a single screening without permission from Disney may see a theater charged an additional 5% of ticket revenue as the penalty.
That's bogus right there.
The high consumer demand for The Last Jedi, box office sales being down, and Disney's significant market share leaves theaters with little power to rebel against these terms.
That's kind of bogus. I mean, good grief. Disney, let's just say you have a big populated city like San Francisco where everyone wants to see Star Wars and the Metreon, and Disney wants the Metreon to show Star Wars. And then they go, you know what? We own our own business, and you can't give us terms of how to do this and how to do that. And if you don't like it, then everyone in San Francisco is going to have to see the movie elsewhere and not here where they want to see it. They're going to be mad at you than us.
I'm shocked, honestly, that Disney has that kind of pull with theaters. I thought that whatever kind of arrangement that they have with the movie studios, I don't know, for some reason, I guess there was some sort of universal agreement as to what the take is, like what the take home is for the studios versus the actual theater companies. But yeah, 65%. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, if I'm a movie theater owner, I'm not going to be too thrilled about that. But what do you do? I mean, you're kind of in this pickle of a situation because in this day and age, Disney really does hold a lot of the keys. They have like just about every major IP that everybody just loves to go see. So what do you do?
I think it's a recipe for disaster because they got to make up people's in the theaters. They have to make up the profit somehow because they're not making much money on the movies themselves. And so it might be that ticket sales or the prices of ticket sales go up and we get stuck with the bill. We just want to go see a movie and we think it's going to be $12 or $10 or whatever. And they might start charging IMAX prices for a regular movie experience just to make it up on their end.
Yep.
So it's not good.
That's actually a really good observation. I mean, that could very well happen. And in that case, that's when the end user or the consumer suffers the most because at the end of the day, you have both movie studios and the theater owners who are getting whatever it is that they want to get in terms of the money. And who has to cough it up is the consumer. And the only kind of retaliatory response a consumer has is to not go.
Right.
And other Star Wars TV series announced for Disney streaming service. Disney has announced plans to debut a new live-action Star Wars television series on its forthcoming streaming service. Bob Iger, the chairman and CEO of Disney, shared the news during the company's quarterly earnings call, Variety reports. In addition to the live-action Star Wars series, the company is also at work on TV shows based on Monsters, Inc. and High School Musical, as well as a new original series from Marvel. Back in August, Disney announced plans to launch its own branded streaming service. The service is set to debut in the United States sometime in 2019 and will expand worldwide at some point thereafter. There is quite a bit of Star Wars stuff going on. You can tell that they are tapping into that IP big time.
All Star Wars, all the time, baby.
It's non-stop. My hope is just as they continue to release more of these, that they're able to stay within that high bar of expectation because I mean, it's just I would hate for the licensed Star Wars to fizzle out and them go too far, or not far enough.
Well, if you think about it, the Disney princess stuff is kind of going out, and the Star Wars Marvel stuff is going in. You might have people going to Disneyland going, where's Iron Man? Well, no, honey, look, Cinderella. No, I want Iron Man.
Yeah. Or Black Widow.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad's like, I want to see Black Widow too.
Yeah.
So let's see here. The next, what?
Go ahead, Russ.
You're visualizing it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
The Last Jedi. This is. We have a lot of good Star Wars news here. This is a big one. This is a doozy. The Last Jedi's Rian Johnson to create new Star Wars trilogy. Jonathan Dornbush reports that Rian Johnson, the director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, which is the movie that's coming out next month, will be creating a brand new trilogy of Star Wars films and is set to write and direct the first of the 3 films. StarWars.com announced that Johnson will write and direct the first of the 3 films along with his longtime collaborator, Ram Bergman, as producer. The trilogy will be separate from the Skywalker saga.
The Sega, yeah.
The Sega.
Right.
Sega. Oh, let's try that again. The trilogy will be separate from the Skywalker saga and introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. Though reports have said Lucasfilm is looking into making more films beyond Episode 9 featuring the characters introduced in The Force Awakens, the official announcement of Johnson's films indicate these films will be entirely different projects. Rian Johnson has responded to today's announcement from Disney that he will create a brand new trilogy of Star Wars films via Twitter. Quote, obviously, I hope you like The Last Jedi, but man, now I really hope you like The Last Jedi, end quote. For one, I'm looking forward to that. I have a feeling that was going to be a really good movie just based off of what I've seen so far.
I wasn't afraid then. I am now.
Nice. So the last little part here involves you sauntering over to my side of the table because they have Black Panther character posters that have been revealed and they look really good.
What was that?
I don't know if your microphone can reach or not. Let's see if you can do it without knocking anything. Okay, you're here.
Yeah.
All right.
What the?
So that's Andy Serkis. He's one of the characters there.
Look at that.
Yeah. Look at that. Forrest Whitaker.
Nice.
I really like the color and stuff. He's looking down. He's got his hands kind of crossed.
I like Forrest Whitaker.
Oh,
that's
Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of. I think she's a great actress. I just love the side profile, the contours and stuff. And the wardrobe just looks amazing.
Expression on her face is good too.
Yeah. And this is someone who I'm not too familiar with, but it's Letitia Wright. Or actually, it's probably Letitia. But again, I really like the face paint on there.
Hey, she's borrowing the line down her lips from the Grandmaster.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum. Hello. Apparently, you are using my lip liner.
You can use the white one. You can't use the blue one.
So this is another one here. This is Donnie Guerrera. Once again, I think the kind of head tattoo thing she's got on there, that looks really neat.
Plus the collar she's got there is very, I don't know, what's the...
Well, you just have a lot of texture work going on with a lot of the different metals mixed with the actual fabrics. It just, I mean, whoever the photographer was for these promotional posters, I think did an excellent job. Here's Lupita. Once again, you have the kind of the symmetrical approach. She has like these like kind of like, what do you call it? Like scythes or scythe?
Seeds?
What do you call those?
I don't know. She's
got these two curved swords, and it has kind of a Pirates of the Caribbean vibe to it, which is cool. And then Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. I think he's the villain in this film. So pretty cool, don't you think?
I like it. Wonder if they'll have all those posters set up in series at the AMC theater. So when we go to see the movie, we can we have to decide what poster to take a picture of our ticket stubs.
Oh, I know. Well, I've got that tingling sensation, Steve.
Do you believe? Do you? I think it's time for the topic of the day.
It's like I've just had 10 shots of espresso, baby.
Music just I know we say over and over again, we're just like, I feel like I can conquer the world.
You know, I've been I ate some trail mix before I showed up here, and I got something stuck on the back and part of my tooth, and so I'm gonna hear that music playing in my mind if I finally dislodge whatever's back there.
I was gonna say, actually, I could totally see, I think that music would be appropriate, like for anybody who has something that's stuck in their teeth and they can't get it out, and you're doing everything, you're using toothpicks, using your tongue, you're using your fingernail, whatever it is, and then finally when it goes, there's just that moment where you just have that euphoria.
Like,
you're like,
I got it. I'm gonna call you on the phone. Russ, remember what I was talking about? I got it out.
You have like a tear of joy going down your cheek. Yeah, everyone should have this particular song play at that moment. Our topic of the day is the rumored Disney/Fox deal. Do you know much about this, Steve?
No, I thought... Yeah, no, go ahead.
So Disney, again, Disney's actually quite a bit in our news for this episode, but they reportedly held talks to buy 21st Century Fox assets. Jonathan Dornbush from IGN had reported that executives at 21st Century Fox, the parent company behind Fox's film, TV, and broadcast divisions, have reportedly discussed selling most of the company to Disney.
Good. Great.
CNBC reports these talks, which have occurred over the last few weeks, noting that there is no certainty of such a deal occurring. According to CNBC, Disney and Fox are not currently discussing such a merger. Both companies declined to comment on CNBC's report. However, the Wall Street Journal confirmed that Disney did, in fact, hold discussions to buy Fox. However, these specific talks are no longer active, at least to their knowledge.
Can you imagine? Let's just say the whole thing happened, and then Disney pulls all its streaming stuff off Netflix, and then if this whole thing goes through and they own Fox too, then they pull all of Fox's stuff off Netflix and say, okay, now you Netflix lovers, you're gonna have to get our streaming service too, because now we have all Disney movies and Pixar movies and Fox 20th Century Fox movies.
I have a list here. What Fox would sell to Disney. Fox's film studio, 20th Century Fox, and presumably all of its properties and subsidiaries like Fox Searchlight would be owned by Disney. That would assumedly mean Fox-owned Marvel properties like X-Men and Fantastic Four would return to Disney and Marvel. Additionally, Disney would acquire the rights to James Cameron's Avatar franchise, for which there is already a precedent, and an Avatar land already existing at Disney World. Man. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, in the past, we have talked about like just some of the issues that Disney has had with their Marvel license, just because early on, before all these Marvel films were such a hit, you had multiple studios just doing one-offs, right? Like Fox grabbed X-Men, like what they were talking about. And of course, you have Venom, that sort of thing. And then Marvel Studios was able to grab onto some of their own. And if you recall, we were talking about how on earth are they going to move forward with this? Are they going to have like two parallel universes going on where maybe they'll do crossovers? And I know that was a big thing for Spider-Man, was that having Spider-Man appear in Captain America Winter Soldier. No, I'm sorry, not Winter Soldier, Civil War.
Right.
That was a huge deal because Marvel Studios doesn't own that. Sony does.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because and I think, to my knowledge, I think that the three big studios that own the Marvel characters, you have some that are allocated to 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox. You have some that are allocated to Sony. And I should clarify, I believe Sony owns the rights to Venom, not 21st Century Fox. 21st Century Fox has Fantastic Four, X-Men, maybe a couple others. I'm not sure which one Deadpool belongs to, but I know it's not Marvel Studios. It's either Sony or it's Fox. But anyway, it's interesting how as they were going through the Spider-Man thing, they were able to work out a deal with Sony. However, when it comes to 21st Century Fox, I think this is really a very shrewd move. I mean, I've got to hand it to Bob Iger over at Disney. The man knows business. Just all these different types of decisions that he's making. Even, regardless of whether or not I have some kind of question or concern about any given business decision, the point is that he really does know how to wheel and deal these things. Disney would reportedly would own Fox's TV studio, 20th Century Fox TV, and its productions like Family Guy, 24, and more.
Oh my goodness.
Additional Fox networks like FX and National Geographic would reportedly become also owned by Disney.
Man.
Now, what's worth mentioning is what would actually remain at Fox, because they wouldn't actually be taking over all of Fox. Fox would retain the Fox Broadcasting Network, as FCC rules prohibit a merger between any of the major broadcast networks, which include Fox, CBS, NBC, and ABC. Fox would also hold on to its sports programming, according to CNBC's report. Merging with ESPN would be seen as anti-competitive. And so that's, once again, that would be against the rules / law, so they wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I'm going to pause you because I've been doing some reading with Disney and ESPN ESPN's not doing that good at all.
They've been suffering this year.
They've been suffering a lot, and last year also. And I know a lot of stock folks have been asking Disney, like, what are you going to plan on doing with ESPN? And they're holding it, but ESPN's almost starting to be dead weight with Disney. They might abandon ESPN altogether and then try and go for Fox Sports.
And that is certainly a possibility. I have no idea. It's weird though, because ESPN typically has had a ton of success. I mean, it definitely is a channel to be reckoned with in terms of just the sports arena. And of course, with Fox's sports program as well, they're competitors back and forth. And I have a feeling with ESPN, I think that Disney just needs to retweak it a little bit, and I think it'll be back to normal. But also, too, I think there are certain events that are going on outside of ESPN that indirectly affect it. So, but I don't think it's limited to affecting just ESPN. I think a lot of what we see going on in football and baseball, that sort of thing, I think it's affecting all of the various sports programs.
Yeah, ESPN. I think just Fox Sports has a better reputation or a better name than ESPN for other stuff than what's mainstreaming at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see.
Disney would reportedly not buy Fox News or its business channels either. So Fox Business wouldn't be there. Yeah. Disney would also reportedly not purchase any of Fox's local broadcasting affiliates. So it sounds like their main interest is just nab more of the entertainment side of things, like just the stuff that pertains to licenses or IPs that they can turn into films. With some of the little side a la carte stuff like National Geographic is everybody loves National Geographic. Sure. So it's more of an educational channel, but it's something that I think fits right in with the Disney model.
Did you say they're going to get Fox's the TV studio?
Let me look back through here. I think so.
Because if that's the case, then they'll own...
Disney would reportedly own Fox's TV studio, 20th Century Fox TV, and its productions like Family Guy, 24, etc.
So that would mean they would own ABC and Fox.
Yeah.
That's like big empire moves right there.
It is. I mean, because that basically means out of the big boys, you have NBC and CBS left. But I think in terms of just focusing on the Marvel component for a moment, I think that makes a lot of sense because I could see how Disney could potentially be frustrated with trying to cultivate this world with their Marvel Studios department, and then constantly having these other studios tell their vision of what the Marvel universe is like. And it's just, I could see how that could just potentially become a headache. And so looking at it from this standpoint, I think it's important to just impress the notion that this is not a foregone conclusion, that this is just, I think that there has been some talks going on. And I think that due to the fact that it is such a big deal, if it were to happen, I think there were some leaks that occurred.
Some rubbing elbows and some shared brewskis.
Yeah, well, as CNBC notes, this deal is in no ways taking place just yet, and the outlet could not learn about the exact structure nor price such a deal would include. Such a deal would see a significant merger among film and television production.
The Marvel thing definitely makes sense because if you think about Fantastic Four, I mean, no one really cared for those movies, and there's nothing going on with them right now. And no one talks about them. And X-Men's on the decline too. I mean, it's really cool that X-Men is a full feature movie franchise, but if you compare X-Men to the Avengers, it pales in comparison. And I don't know if it just needs new direction or new division or whatever, but I think if Disney bought the rights to those franchises and brought them into the Marvel world and put their spin on it, they might bring new life into them, which I wasn't a fan of Fantastic Four too much, but I definitely loved X-Men.
Yeah.
And X-Men has just kind of grown kind of stale over the last few movies.
I never saw any of the Fantastic Four films. Personally, they just really didn't interest me. But to be fair, I never read the comic book either. It's just not my bag.
Right.
I mean, it's not to say
neither,
that it was bad, but just, I mean, it's just not for me personally.
I thought I remember reading something. What's the guy's name who plays Captain America?
Oh my gosh! Now I'm drawing a blank. Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers. Yeah, that's the guy. The other big buff blonde guy that all the chicks like. So anyway,
Chris Hemsworth. No, the other one.
I thought I remember reading on MDib that he did not like his role as Sunfire.
Chris Evans.
Chris. That he didn't care for his character as the fire dude on Fantastic Four.
As the Human Torch?
Human Torch.
See, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you out.
Man, yeah, the guy who caught himself on fire. I'm thinking sun. I'm thinking hot fire. Yeah. What other
the opposite of cold
images can I come up with? Torch,
yeah.
And he's human. There you go. I think if I remember correctly, I think he couldn't stand that role, and he was glad to kind of see it go away, and there would be no more Fantastic Four. And so it would be funny if this whole thing happening. Okay, Chris, the chicks dig you. All right. Now with this deal, your contract's going to go up, but you got to go back and play the Human Torch. You're like, no!
I was so close. Yeah, actually, 20th Century Fox does own Deadpool. And if you recall, Tedpool, what the heck, man?
If you call Ted Bundy that,
Tadpole, wait, what? Deadpool did extremely well at the box office.
It sure did, Russ. We're looking forward to the sequel of Deadpool.
I do indeed. I enjoy looking forward to seeing more Deadpool with Unicorn.
You know, I might have to get some. I might have to take advantage of Black Friday and see what prices are on Deadpool 4K, otherwise known as Deadpool Fork.
That movie is seriously one of my favorite Marvel movies.
You see what I did right there?
I do.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well done. Well played. But yeah, I mean, just using that as another example, I think that if they were to move forward with being able to acquire all those different assets from Fox, you know, that particular franchise would then come into the fold. My one concern, though, is would they neuter Deadpool? Because, I mean, Deadpool is a very brutally violent comic book character from his, you know, inception on. I mean, like that's part of just who he is. And, you know, Disney traditionally has been a very family-friendly oriented company, although they have, I mean, when it comes to the movie business, I feel like they've ventured a little farther away from that image or that identity. So
brutally violent and brutally crass.
Brutally funny. Love me some Ryan Reynolds, some R squared. But yeah, and I think to your point too, I think the X-Men franchise is in dire need of a reboot. I think that they were able to explore some things, and I think it was great that Bryan Singer was able to bring the X-Men into the world of the silver screen.
Brian. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
My ears. But yeah, I think that would offer a terrific opportunity for Marvel Studios to then get their hands on it, let them do some concept ideation, figure out a brand new approach to the overall story so that they could do like a reboot. And I think the timing of it is great too, just because Hugh Jackman has reportedly hung up his claws. You know, he's no longer be playing Wolverine. And so
sucks.
Once again, I think looking at, okay, who can we get to play all these characters and what kind of direction do we want to take in terms of rebooting the story? But what do you think though, overall, in terms of the possibility, like if Disney were to move forward and close this deal, are you in favor of it or not?
The business part of me goes like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, if it works, it works. The human part of me goes, man, when companies get too big like that, it kind of frightens me. Like, I mean, they have so much power and their umbrella reaches so far about other stuff that they own. It's not like, oh, they own CBS and they own, or they might own Fox. Let's just say they did. They own a ton more stuff going on. And I don't know, man. I'm a fan of some of the Disney stuff that's out there, and some of the stuff I'm like, whatever. But all these media platforms, that if they'll start just dictating, what they want to say and what they don't want to say, and if you make the emperor unhappy, what's going to be the ramifications down on you. And then we were talking earlier about in the news how they were starting to call the shots for all the theaters. And the more power they get, the more shots they can call like that. And that kind of makes it unfair and kind of worrisome in a way, where if I go out and I open a theater and I think, okay, you know what? I want the theater experience to be like this because I think all the theater experiences are doing it wrong. And I want it, virtual reality. I want the seats to rumble and all hydraulics and moving all around and all that stuff. And I open up my own theater, and then I'm trying to draw people in because of my vision of how the theater experience should be. And then Disney says, you know what? We're going to change that, or else, we're not going to give you any kind of movies of ours or anything else that we own to play it in your theater. We'll forbid it. And that makes me like, well, that's going to hurt my business because movies are my business. So everyone else is going to be unhappy with me because I can't show the movie, and they're not going to know behind the scenes corporate decisions are being made, and they're going to have to go everywhere else to see the movie except for my theater. Because I wouldn't be okay with outside sources calling shots for my business.
Yeah, I for one, just putting the topic on the shelf for just a moment and looking at Disney as a company, the company itself is just it's such a juggernaut in the entertainment industry. And they, like, one of the biggest strengths of Disney is their ability to act as a custodian for pre-existing IPs, whether it's their own that Walt Disney back in the day made, or if it's, you know, due to acquiring different companies such as Pixar or Marvel or even Lucasfilm. They have pivoted in such a way that now that they've paid top dollar for these companies, they're in this kind of state where they have to continue to cultivate those licenses and make sure that they don't lose the secret sauce or the magic that made each one of those properties just a household name and just such a beloved IP to begin with. And so when it comes to, you know, Fox has their own persona as a company. They have their own culture. And I think it's kind of healthy to have multiple companies with their own kind of culture, their own way of doing things, because that's how you get great ideas. I think that if everybody gets under one house, the danger with that is you begin to get kind of tunnel vision creatively. And I'm not saying that that's what Disney has, because clearly Disney has top talent that work for them, and they're able to create some truly amazing entertainment overall, whether it's through movies or TV or books, merchandise. I mean, even video games that they come out with their licenses. I mean, the going to the park is a delight. Every time you see some sort of new land that they tack on, or there's some other kind of feature, I mean, they are just a one-stop shop for just the AAA going experience.
The park, Russ. I have to digress here for a minute. I haven't been to the park since you got us kicked off the freaking carousel back in the day.
Have we ever talked about that on the show?
I don't think we have, but it's been a long time. Everyone's like, "Hey, have you seen Star Wars stuff going on?" No. Have you seen the Adventureland? No. Have you seen whatever Bugs Life thing they got it? No. I haven't been there in years. I mean, it's been like probably 20 years.
I think you're right. I think the last time we were there was I think it was right around 1995, 1996.
I was in, I think it was a junior high. I was in junior high. Yes, I think. Yeah, I was.
I was. You, me, him. I have been there since that time. I've been there more recently. But having said that, I think the last time I was at a Disney park was in 2003. So it's been a while for me as well. I mean, what is that? 15 years?
All it takes is money, Russ. Fly over there.
2003, 2013, there's 10.
Stay in a Disneyland hotel.
I think about 14 years for me. But for you, that would mean for you, that was, my goodness.
It's been a while.
I think what is it? So 1990, let's just say 1995. 1995, then you have 2005, 2015, that's 20 years. So you haven't been there in 22 years.
Yes.
I do believe you are overdue. You need to take your girlfriend and go.
I know. Well, good grief.
Get some pictures with Mickey and Goofy, Daisy, all of them, you know. Yeah, that is a long time.
It's going to be a whole new world. A whole new world. Oh, man.
Only this time, if you go, you'll probably see a lot of characters from Marvel and Lucasfilm. I mean, they kind of already did have like Star Wars presence there.
Yeah. Fast forward now. Let me ask you something here, Russ. Let me phrase a question for you.
No, go right ahead, Steve.
Now, you and I both know that Pixar is part of the family.
No, I don't. I know nothing of this.
Love me some Pixar. You know, Toy Story, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles. A lot of good movies.
I cannot wait for The Incredibles 2.
It's been all long overdue.
You know they're working on that, right?
I know. I know. Let me ask you something, Russ. I'm being sincere with this. Do you think...
No.
Therefore, you aren't. Do you think Pixar is stronger or not as strong once they had been under the Disney umbrella? As in, like, before it was just, you know, a Pixar's picture film. Here you go. Now it's Disney Pixar film. Here you go.
So at the creation of Pixar, they have always had a pre-existing relationship with Disney.
I know.
Disney was their publisher.
I know.
And distributor.
I know.
And they split the profits, I believe, 50-50. And actually, I think initially their agreement was actually more in Disney's favor. And then when they renegotiated the contract, it went to 50-50.
Okay. Well,
50-50.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, like, if you put in Toy Story 1, it's just going to say, like, Pixar. Disney might be in the background somewhere, but that's okay. But now it's like Disney Pixar. Like, it's all in the same movie poster. Like, Disney's name is stamped right there on it. So, my question to you, I don't think you've answered it yet. Since that has happened, and we fast forward from the early days of Toy Story in the theater when it was mainly Pixar, you thought of, and not Disney and Pixar together, mano y mano. Have they been stronger or weaker?
I think as a general rule, they've been stronger. And I think it's because it wasn't like Pixar was on their own completely. They have always had a relationship with Disney. And what's interesting too is that after Disney acquired Pixar, John Lasseter became, I believe, the chief creative officer, or at least one of the chief creative officers at Disney. So you have the man who was at the helm of Pixar, and suddenly that was something that Disney sorely needed, because for the longest time, Disney was struggling with making the transition from 2D feature films to 3D feature films. All the 3D feature films that they did, it was lacking a certain something. Yeah. Well, I don't think they sucked, but
I had to say it.
But they definitely were not nearly as good as Pixar. And I think that was, once again, that was a great merger that Disney did. But what I think is most important is the fact that they have allowed John Lasseter, or probably John Lasseter had a stipulation in this negotiation where he stated that he will still remain as kind of the figurehead of Pixar, that they will be able to largely pursue creative projects that they would like to pursue, rather than Disney just completely taking over and saying, this is what you're going to create. And what's nice is that there's been a cross-pollination where Disney's animation studios has gotten exposed to the techniques and the technology from Pixar. And as a result, like Tangled was just perfect.
That was a great movie, yeah.
It was a perfect blend of the Disney style of animation and the charm, but it's mixed with the Pixar look. It was just this like it was the perfect representation of Disney and Pixar having a baby. That was the final result, and that's ultimately what I look forward to seeing more of from them. So yeah, I think as a general rule, I think they're stronger for that. I would say the only thing, and this applies to any kind of merger, is you're no longer independent in terms of the trajectory that you want to take your company.
Right.
So you're going to be a bit at the mercy of what the company, the parent company, in this case Disney, wants to do with you. So
the empire.
You have to make sure that your sales numbers are up. Because if they're not, then you run the risk of being disbanded.
Yeah. Cut from the herd.
Yeah.
I had to
trimming of the proverbial fat.
Who was that? That was Frank Underwood from House of Cards. What if I say no? Then we'll cleave you from the herd and watch you die. Man. Whew. Anyhow.
Since you put it like that.
Speaking of John Lasseter, though, Russ, he's got his own vineyard, and I think he has his wine available on the Disney cruises. So if you or anybody else takes a Disney cruise, if you could pick me up a bottle, because I hear it's really, really good.
I actually would like to go on the Disney cruise. That is yet another business model where the folks who have gone say that's like, it's seriously one of the best cruises. Like everything is meticulously thought out. And I think that's one of the greatest strengths of Disney in general, is that they place such an emphasis on user experience. And it's funny because, like, for me, as someone who works in UI design, that has a bit of a special place in my heart, if you will. But what's interesting is that with them, it's everything. Just the way that they lay out stuff, whether it's the park or it's the cruise line or whatever it is.
I was just talking about wine, but you know.
Hey, the food. I mean, that's the other thing too. You go to the park and I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Blue Bayou. I love getting the dishes they have in there. It's just, I mean, the ice cream, everything
I have no clue about that.
Just to a absolute perfection. And it's I don't know, it's something that other companies have attempted to copy and failed. But we seem to be digressing a little on the topic of the day here.
I was starting to think of another story, but I'll hold that one off about the food. Anyway. Back to Pixar. So I would disagree with you, Russ. Lovingly, of course. Lovingly disagree with you. I would say Pixar is a bit weaker. And I'll say that because the earlier movies that came out, bam, 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 home run, home run, home run, home run. I mean, they're just phenomenal movies. And I bought almost every single one of them. Since then, and Tangled being the exception,
well, Tangled wasn't done by Pixar. That was a Disney film.
But I mean, it was around that acquisition time.
It was after the acquisition.
Right. But around that time is what I'm trying to say. So, since then, you haven't had the magic and the strength of Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Toy Story, all those very, very strong foundational picks. I mean, you've had like The Good Dinosaur, for example.
Well, that came out a long time ago, and that was actually done by Disney before they acquired Pixar.
It was still Pixar's name's on it. I put it on my Netflix recently to watch it. Everyone's like, "Yeah, this is by Pixar, and this is not that great." I'm like, "No, I'll definitely see it."
That's not accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. I read it on IMDb, so that might have been a typo.
Yeah.
But what else have we had? So we had another Finding Dory, I think it was, and then we had a couple of Cars movies, and it's just been like, I don't know. Like, it seemed like some of the magic has definitely been lost, and from Pixar in my eyes.
Did you ever see Brave?
Yeah, I did.
Did you like it, or?
I could pass on it. I thought it was kind of forgettable. Even Inside Out recently, it took me if I didn't wait till like the last half of the movie when I was seeing Inside Out, I would have given up on it because the latter half was definitely stronger than the first half. The first half, it was getting really bored.
I personally really loved Inside Out just because as a parent, I could really identify with a lot that was going on in the film. So that meant a lot to me. I enjoyed Brave. I never saw Finding Dory. I heard it was good, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
There was Monsters University. I didn't see that. My thing is that as of late, it's kind of funny to hear myself say this, but like being such a huge Pixar fan, I actually have been kind of out of the theater, missing out on quite a few of their more recent offerings. I know their latest one is called Coco.
Yeah, that one's not out yet. That one's coming out, yeah.
And that looks interesting too. I'd like to see that. But they had another one called The Good Dinosaur. I think that's the one you may have been
That's what I
thinking
just
about.
said, yeah.
Okay, because I thought you just said Dinosaur, because there's one called Dinosaur that came out way back in the early 2000s.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, no.
Okay. They're working on Toy Story 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure about if there are any other films on there, but of course, Incredibles 2 is coming out. They've got Brad Bird back for that. So,
and I hope they do very, very well. But lately, it seems like it's lacked a bit of the luster they've had before.
There was another film that came out recently, and I can't remember what it's called, but I think it took place on Hawaii.
That was Moana. Or Moana.
Moana, that's right. I heard that one was excellent. Everyone I talked to who saw it they just said that some of them even said that's like their favorite Pixar movie ever.
I have yet to see that one. My GF saw it and said it was good. She wanted me to see it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, do you have any other last thoughts about the possibility of a Disney Fox deal?
No, I don't.
Well, that's very cut and dry. That's all good. I mean, I think it goes without saying that. I mean, if it goes through, that will be huge. It'll be probably one of the biggest deals of the year if it goes through this year, if not the next year.
Ginormous.
I do believe that, in fact, wraps up this episode of Joygasm. We would like to thank all of you. I feel like I could speak for the two of us We definitely appreciate your time listening to us on the show. We look forward to having you back on next week's episode. Be sure to check out patreon.com/joygasm and subscribe to get the most of the show. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Just do a search for Joygasm TV. In addition to iTunes and Android, you can listen to our podcast on soundcloud.com/Joygasm TV. Last but not least, search Joygasm TV on Twitch to see us stream our gaming adventures live. Until next time, folks.
Happy gaming!